What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and with the introduction of the PS5 Slim, we have a choice to make. Do we spend $500 on another console, or do we spend much less and do something to our fat boy PS5s to make them look just a little bit special? Well, DBrand had us covered back in the day with dark plates before Sony introduced their side plates, and so once again, we have DBrand coming out with something that is inspired by something Sony did. The Arachnoplates are available on their website right now for those of us that couldn't get our hands on those special edition plates from Sony for $65. But if you spend a little bit extra, you're going to get a few more items that I think are essential to really pull off the look of this console. Now, opening up the package, you're going to see everything you're going to get right here in front of us. We're going to get a couple things, a little cleaning cloth to kind of prep the surface for the installation of the stickers, but we're going to go ahead and go an extra step and use some alcohol. But we do have the strips that cover the LEDs on the PS5 to give it that red and black Arachno look. We have the decals on the front and actually the bottom of the console, once again to kind of complete the look. And of course you have the side plates themselves, but we're going to come back to these in just a minute. Okay, let's go ahead and grab the console and prepare it for the installation of the decals by disassembling the console, which couldn't be any simpler. Really just pull up on the very top corner and pull down on the plate to have that release, flip it over and do the same on the other side. And this is a great time to go ahead and clean up the console, get rid of some dust, maybe even take out that fan depending on how old your console is. Really give it a good cleaning, and now we can move on to the fun part, which is actually installing some of the decals. Now, before we apply any decals and stickers, we're going to have a good clean surface. So go ahead and grab some isopropyl alcohol and start with the area where we're going to actually apply the LED overlays, and then work on the glossy part, the front of the console. Everywhere you're going to apply these stickers, go ahead and give it a good rub down with the alcohol. Give it just a few seconds to dry, and then we can begin the installation. Now, to get started, I recommend not pulling off the entire decal. Just peel off one end. Go ahead and secure that, get that sort of fastened after you line up the whole decal, and then just peel off the backing as you work. It just makes it a little bit easier not to have to deal with this entire decal with the sticky backing. So once you get this done on both sides, it's time to move on to the rest of the console. You'll notice that this decal actually goes on the bottom of the PlayStation. Depending on how you mount your PlayStation, whether it's vertical or horizontal, you may not want to put this on, but we're definitely going to put on the center portion. Especially, you know, when you've got a little bit of age on your PlayStation, the glossy part tends to kind of get a little gummed up with fingerprints and some scratches. So this is definitely going to radically change the look of the console, and I think it's really going to improve it as well. Whether you go with this radical design or just a solid color, it's definitely something you should consider if you're trying to sort of change the look of the console. Now, when I apply this decal, just like the others, I went ahead and cut back just some of the paper. I want to deal with a short piece of sticky instead of the entire decal at once. I start at the bottom with the buttons, getting those sort of aligned properly in the two slots in the decal. Go ahead and get that lined up, place that down, and then once those are set, go ahead and work on the decal from the bottom, moving your way up to the top, and then towards the back of the console, paying special attention to the USB ports, making sure that alignment is just right. You don't want this thing to tear when you're plugging things in and out of the front of the console. Okay, the same method applies when you're working on the bottom. Start where the seam between the two plastic pieces meet. Make sure you're taking special care to not cover up any of the vents on the bottom, and that center screw hole on the bottom for sure. And the cutouts, really, DBrand did a really good job of making sure that all the cutouts are there to not interfere with obviously the cooling vents, but then even the stock Sony decals on the bottom that give you all the model number and specifications of this particular PlayStation. So a lot of attention to detail, and I gotta say, once again, you know, DBrand, you did your homework. Looks good. Alright, so the moment you've been waiting for, the unboxing, the unveiling of the Arachnoplates. The DBrand box, it does not disappoint in the detail on top, and the way that it opens up is pretty slick. You're going to have this foam pad covering the first dark plate, and you'll see it's just a matte black, this one on the disk drive side. It's going to be a little bit different. Obviously, you have the digital version. Got the vent up top, so maximum cooling is in effect for sure. Let's go ahead and remove the second piece of foam. And then let's go ahead and flip this bad boy over. This is going to be the one that's got all the detail. You notice also the ones and zeros on the back, kind of making fun or poking fun at Sony's X's and O's and squares and triangles. And boom, there you go. You have the inspired symbiote and Spider-Man styling from Sony's offerings. Here you go. This is a little bit more aggressive because they've taken advantage of that grill itself, and things just kind of spin outward. Really looks sick. Now let's go ahead and see how this looks on the console. And this is the fun part because it is so easy. Let's go ahead and put one of these foam pads down to give us a little bit of cushioning. Here is the monster, the behemoth, the Fat Boy PlayStation. Let's go ahead and put this first one on. The dark plate, literally dark plate, fastens just in the exact same way that the stock ones do. Push down on the top and then click up, just kind of slide that up from the bottom. And then go ahead and get the money shot. This is the one, right? Go ahead and get the good side on, the one with all the detail. Click it in place, and then once this is in place, you can step back and you can take a look at all your work. And in my opinion, man, this thing, it just looks killer. Okay, so let me know in the comments section below, what do you think about this? How do you think it compares to Sony's Spider-Man console? I think this one, you know, take it or leave it. If you like the pop collar of the original, maybe that's the way to go. But for me, for the price, you cannot beat this package. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by, checking out the channel. You have a blessed day, and I will see all of you next time.